Okay, this is the first video on relations and functions in your function checklist. You've already watched the Wally video, so this is second checklist number 2. We're going to talk about function machines, okay? You just watched Wally, that was a machine and things and functions that he was supposed to do. In your notes, you have a function machine that looks kind of like this one, not exactly. But what a function machine does, we are going to have an input of a number like 3. 3 will travel down to the function. A function will be applied, and then a different number will come out. Let's say maybe 7. Okay? So we don't know exactly what this function was, but we could think about some things that it might be. What can I do to 3 when it comes in here, goes through the function, and comes out a 7? Well, I could add 4 to it. So maybe my function is x plus 4. Throughout all of this unit, we're going to talk and learn all about different types of functions. Okay? Here is one particular function that we can see happening. If x is 4, so I'm dropping a 4 into my function machine. 4 gets applied to the function, so y equals 2 times 4 plus 3, and that is 11. So 11 comes out of the function. Okay? That is a function machine. You may have done some of those in former grades. Okay? So a function is going to relate an input to an output. Okay? Let's look at this function. Y equals negative 2x plus 4. If one of my inputs is negative 2, another one of my inputs is 0, one of my inputs is 1, and one of my inputs is 3. I'm just picking those, okay? Nobody says what my inputs, and we're going to find later what my domain has to be. So what I do is I input that into the function. So y equals negative 2 times negative 2 minus 4. Well, that's 4 minus 4, which is 0. And I'll do the same thing with 0. Negative 2 times 0 minus 4. And that's negative 4. And then I'll do negative 2 times 1 minus 4. And that's negative 6. And then I'll do negative 2 times 3 minus 4. That's negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. So here is my input that gives me my output. Notice that negative 2 matches only with 0. 0 matches only with negative 4. 1 matches only with negative 6. And 3 matches only with negative 10. That is called 1-to-1 correspondence. Okay, 1-to-1 correspondence. That's what needs to happen. That's supposed to be an E. Okay. A relation. If you look on page 257, relation is one of the yellow vocabulary words. A relation is slightly different. It can have more than 1-to-1 correspondence. So it is just, a relation is a set of ordered pairs. Okay? Some functions are relations. Every relation may not be a function, but every function is a relation. Okay? Let's talk about, I mentioned earlier, some different words that we can say for input and output. You might hear domain and range. Okay? You might see the x value and the y value. Okay? You might hear x and f of x, time versus distance, That is a real-life example that we'll be talking about here a little later. You can see that's number C. Okay? So you have input, output, x, y, domain range, x and f of x, time and distance, and you have room in case we have any others. That concludes part A of your video.